What's up, everybody? This is Rob Archangel of archangelinc.com, and in this video I want to talk about some tips for proofreading your own work. Now, I definitely encourage you, if you have the means, to get an outside proofreader. It's really helpful. It can be hard to proofread your own material, but if you are not in that position, let's talk about some things that you can do to help catch any late stage errors that might be in your manuscript before you put it out to the public. So the first thing that I would recommend is to read your book aloud. You may or may not be interested in doing an audio version of the book, but if you aren't doing an audio version, you can still take some time, read your book aloud. It will force you to slow down to see the words that are actually on the page and not actually in your head. And as you speak them aloud, you can notice the sorts of errors that you may not notice otherwise. The second thing that I would recommend is to hack your brain a little bit. Oftentimes you will have a book or a manuscript that you've been working on, and let's say it's in a fairly standard font. It's in Times New Roman or Cambria or something, whatever you've decided for your file, that your manuscript file that you're getting ready to put out there on Kindle or CreateSpace or whatever. Change the font. Change the font. What does that do? It helps to tell your brain, hey, this is something unfamiliar. The words, the actual script may end up being the same. In fact, it is. It's identical. It's exactly the same. But from a visual perspective and from a mental processing perspective, changing the font can help you slow down and see it with fresh eyes. Now, you still may gloss over things, you still may get familiar with it and skip over things that you should notice if you were actually looking at it fresh for the first time, but it is something that can help you to do that. And the third and final trick that I would recommend, and it's very laborious and time-consuming and may not be all that fun, but could be effective in helping you catch typos and other irrefutable errors like that, is read the manuscript backwards, either line by line or even word by word. And again, this is going to take a long time, particularly if you're reading it aloud backwards, but even if you're reading it silently in your head, reading it backwards also provides that mental hack. It allows you to see the book in a different way. It's not a manuscript. It's not a whole cohesive set of thoughts and sentences and paragraphs and chapters. Instead, it's word by word. Is the word publisher spelled right? Is the word backward spelled right? Is it backward or backwards? And you can tell these things when you're reading them line by line. Again, this is tedious. You're gonna spend a lot of time doing this. But if you are longer on time and shorter on funds, if you don't have the means right now to invest in some outside help and you have lots of sweat equity to give, it's a good way to learn from it and to get better as a writer and get better in terms of your finished product. So I hope those have been helpful. Those are a handful of self-proofreading tips. If you have any other tips, feel free to leave them down below. If you have any questions or comments on those, also feel free to leave those down below. I will do my best to answer them. This is Rob Archangel of archangelinc.com. I will see you folks next time.